Glitter, and I am attempting to make a live video today. Studios. Nothing exciting, just some flowers here. And this is called Magnificent Magnolia. This is meant to go with a die set that I have. And you're meant to stamp the flowers and then cut them out with the dies. However, the rose in that die set does not have a matching die. So here's what I've done. I've colored them in using Copics. And I just started blending different colors. There's the yellow orangey one. There's this one, more rose tones. And I was just having fun, and part of what I did was that I was making different blends. If you can see here, I did some masking also to layer the flowers, and then obviously this stamping image here did not come out perfect. You see how there's some shifting that happened there. What I decided to do was to cut another one, and I masked that one, the one that I goofed up. Then I started stamping again on the same piece of paper all around it, so that way I could color a separate flower, which is what I did here, and then just cover up the one that I goofed up. So that's a little tip whenever you're doing stamping. If you have something that you already started, in this case I had already started this one and I was really happy with it, but I then stamped the second one. Instead of just throwing out the paper or calling it, you know, okay, I made a huge mistake, that's all you have to do. Just stamp it separately and then layer it on top. Which a lot of people know that, but some people don't, so I think it bears repeating. And then as you can tell there, I went a little deeper with that color rose, a little lighter with this yellow, a little lighter with these. So all I was doing was just playing around with different colors of inks. And also, if you can tell the detail there, that's also done with pencils. Because when it comes to alcohol markers, and here, this is just a sampling here, they also have matching colors with Prismacolor pencils. And I have this collection here. Now, when it comes to, let me show you here. Let me zoom out a moment. These pencils are wonderful in the sense that, thank you very much, Esther. They have, first of all, a really great blending capability. So if you can tell here, I've used maybe 3 or 2 Prismacolor pencils on top of the alcohol coloring, and what it allows you to do is to add a little more detail, a little more depth, you know, and it doesn't look as if you've layered one on top of the other. It just looks all as if it's all one image, if that makes any sense. So these come in different packs. If you're just getting started, you don't have to get all of them, but if you want to invest in a good coloring pencil, I really like these. I can't compare them to anything else. Yes, absolutely. So you can definitely use both. And the cool thing is that you can swatch your markers, and then right next to it you can swatch out the pencils to see which pencil coordinates with which marker. Now, there's a really phenomenal colorist and vendor of Copics. Her name is Violeta Inc. She sells Copics individually, and she sells Prismacolor pencils individually. So if that's something that interests you and you just want to try them out, there's another avenue. Now, Copic also has, just to get this out of the way too, they have these little swatch cards that you can get. So now that I've swatched out, for instance, these colors here, and you can tell I don't have every single one. I haven't invested in the entire set just yet, but you can layer on top of your swatch. You can layer the pencil that you think coordinates, and that's a good way to find out which pencil, you know, will coordinate with the color. And then if you want to, you can just scribble underneath, and that's, you know, just another little tool that you can use. And this comes for the entire set of markers. Some people make their own. I just decided to go ahead and grab this because it was free with purchase, so I thought that was really fun. And now I can get to coloring, now that I got that out of the way. So let's get back to this image here. And you can see, I mean, how the intensity of the colors is just amazing. And you can keep going, because I stopped there where I was, but you can definitely keep coloring. So I'm gonna look here, I'm gonna zoom in again so that, there we go. I think that's gonna be a little bit better. And let's see here. I also wanted to talk about the ink that you use for your image if you are coloring a stamped image versus a drawn one. You want to use an ink that will not react to alcohol, because these are alcohol-based markers. I happen to have used this hybrid ink from Nuvo. This is from TonicStudios, and this is a fast-drying ink, as it says here, but this is a type of ink that you can either emboss or you can use with pencils, you can use it with alcohol markers, and it's not going to budge. So that's really important. You don't want to use an alcohol-based ink for your stamping, because it's going to smear as soon as you start touching it. So that's something to keep in mind. Another thing that's really great is to heat set it, and that's something I do with all of my stamping, is I heat set it before I even start coloring. So let's get started. I'm going to use some earth tones here for her skin color, and I'm just going to pick a few out here. Let's see here. Now, I haven't colored her yet, so we're gonna see where this goes, right? But I'm going to start with an what do they call it? There's names for it, like an undercolor or base color, I don't even know. I don't get too technical. But I'm gonna start with this color called Rose Mist. It is rather light, and this is gonna go right against her hairline there. I'm gonna create kind of like a border. And when you're doing your first color, because you're going to be blending it out, you just want to be very light with it. You don't need to add much to your paper. And of course, the better the paper, the better your coloring will result. I just have some paper, I don't even know what kind it is, to be completely honest. As I said, I'm not getting too technical with it. So this one, I'm going to go with the darker of the two. Hi Karen, welcome. This one's E33, called Sand. I'm going to layer that one right on top of that rose color that I just put down. And you're going to see it'll blend. It's just going to create kind of like an old rose color, if you will. And now you do the coloring of the skin, whichever color you like. So if you want to go with deeper tones, you can. I've shared that in a separate video, showing how to color darker skin tones and all of that. And now this is E31 Brick Beige, and as you can tell, I layered those two one on top of the other. This one I'm going to layer on top of the other two, but then I'm also going to start bringing those colors down, if you will. And this is going to create a base color here, and it's going to look horrible in the beginning. But I'm trying to saturate the paper even more than I did before. And this is a bit on the yellow spectrum, if you will, this brick beige, just to let you know. It's quite yellow. I'm going to go back with that sand color, which was the darker of the two. I'm going to add a little bit more because I want her to be a little bit darker. I don't like how yellow she's looking right now. And then back with the E31. Now there's a chemical reaction that happens with these markers which allows for its blendability. But as you can see there, you can go as light or as dark as you want. Now some people like to add a little more rose on the cheeks. You can do that. You can go in with that tender pink. You're going to see that lighten up. So if it's too light, you can definitely darken that up and blend that in too. In fact, I'm going to go in with I'm gonna dot this crimson color, which is very, very red, as you can tell there, but I'm just gonna dot that right on the edges of her cheeks. And then blend it out with that lighter pink. Tender pink. Because this is almost, it almost has a neon effect. And that's because it's so light. But now I'm going to pull that out. And if you see there, it really, really lightened up quite a bit. So let's go back with the, let's see, which one of these did I like more? I like the sand more, but I'm going to go ahead and blend with that lighter toned, which is called Brick Beige. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So she's not a very, very light skinned girl, but not everyone has to be, right? So with the same color, I'm just going to color her hands. I'm not going to do 3 colors on the hands, so I'm just going to go with the E33 right here. And these are it's a very small image, so you have to be careful how much color you're putting on there so that you don't cross over into other areas. And then the Brick Beige is going to give me a little bit of shadow there on the fingers. Okay, now as far as the hair, oh hi Eve, so sorry, I got into the coloring there and I wasn't paying attention. You can bear with me, I'm really hot, so I have to take off my hoodie. Oh my gosh, my husband's got the fire going and I'm literally sweating in here. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's get back to this. I think I'm going to do the hair next. So I'm going to go a bit darker here. What I want to do also is, this is how I feel most comfortable, is I have a little paper down here, and even though I have these swatched out because I don't want to keep pulling those cards out that I showed you in the beginning, I just like to swatch them out at the bottom here on a piece of paper to see how they look. Okay, so I'm going to go in with E39. This one's called Leather. Love the name. Oh, Esther, if you cross over, you're going to see that's where the Prismacolor pencils will help you, because you can cover up any mistakes. Like for instance here, I crossed over into the hair. If I was going to color her, for instance, as a blonde with light yellows and that sort of thing, I could totally cover that up with a yellow pencil. So don't worry about that. That's where the pencils are going to come in handy. Yes, the refills. If I mentioned at the beginning of this video that Violetta ink is a really good source for that, because you can get individual markers. So if you need that, that's a good place to start, or even, you know, to get your refills, of course, you can do that too. And she has the nibs and all of that. So this, again, this is called Leather. Now I'm only going to apply a little bit here because I want to give myself time to blend. So I don't want to do too much with that dark tone, because I want to go back in with this medium brown and lay it right on top of what I just did. And then give myself some room there for a little bit of a highlight. But this is, I'm considering this my medium tone. I'm not paying attention too much to lines at this point. But, oopsie, just dropped it. My highlight is going to be E31, this one here. So I'm going to drag it across everything I just colored, and then fill in that empty space. Same over here, drag that color out. And of course you can keep layering. Now she has hair that's pretty divided, so that's going to make it a little bit easier also. But you can see the blendability there, it's quite fun. And she's got hot pink cheeks, but I'm digging it. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, guys. There we go. I think that's a little bit better because I see the video as kind of dark. Please let me know if that's what you see as well. And you're very welcome. I'm trying to move my lights here. I was concerned about glare earlier, but I don't think that's going to happen right now. Okay, so leather again. It's going to go closest to her face here because that's where it's going to be darkest. That would be the hair behind her head there and near her shoulder. This is also darker back here and behind that little swatch of hair that's basically like her bangs. And I'm going to do the same thing back here. Now this is the least amount that you want to lay down. Basically you just barely want to touch the paper at this point, because you don't want to soak in this color knowing that you're going to lay down 2 more coats. So that's our darkest. Let's go with the medium color, which is E37. I'm going to start right where I laid down my previous color and then move it out, of course, because you're blending, and it's almost like an ombre effect, if you will. But you're doing that every single time you color. So layer on top of what you just laid down and then pull, if you will. It's like you're pulling that color out. Now I just colored right on top of where the heart's supposed to be. I'm not gonna sweat that at all. This is, you know, I don't like to make life too complicated. It's an image that I'm coloring, and if I have to tweak it, so be it. Okay, so the third color, which is our lightest, E31, it's going to go right on top of the previous 2, and then in this case all the way out to the end. And I can also darken the tips there, that's not a problem. But this one I want to move a little bit slower because I want to make sure that I'm soaking the paper enough that it allows the other ink to blend out. If you're not blending, it's either the paper is not a good quality paper for markers, or you're not putting down enough ink for your image. So again, you can color what you previously colored there and then pull. So I don't know if you ladies wear cosmetics, but it's almost like when you wear eyeshadow, instead of doing the 80s look where you're striping your eyes, you want to blend, blend, blend. You call your hands Shrek ancestor. That's hilarious. Yeah, the flicking is the hardest part, you know? But I would say that it's like handwriting. If you want to practice good handwriting, you have to write. If you want to, you know, if you want to get better at coloring, you have to color. There's no two ways about it. You know, you just have to keep going, keep doing different images, and then be forgiving of yourself when you mess it up. Just, you know, improvise. Sometimes that's just, you know, what you gotta do. Alright, so enough of the browns here. I got a bit of a speck here that I would call a flaw, but like I said before, colored pencils are gonna be your friend, so I'm not gonna be too concerned about that. Now, because there's so much, I would call this quite monochromatic. She's got a darker skin tone and her hair is brown with a little bit of that, you know, ombre look at the ends there. I want to color the hat a lighter color, but before I even get into that, I want to go back with this medium tone brown that I was using, the sepia, and I do want to hit up the ends of her hair here just a little bit, because I do feel like I want to darken that a little bit. And I don't want her to look too fried. I feel like these gorgeous girls, they look like they've hit, you know, put their fingers in a socket or something because their hair is always flying all over the place, but that's what I look like when I wake up, so I shouldn't judge. Alright, so Eve, if you don't wear makeup, then you have to go to the store and grab some really, you know, inexpensive makeup and then just practice blending, even on paper. You can do it on paper, you don't have to do it on your face. So you can definitely practice blending just to, you know, get yourself used to that. Because the same way that you would do it on ink, or with ink, I'm sorry, you could do it with any other medium. So it might sound like a joke, but it's true. It would work just to get yourself used to that. Alright, so there it is. I just blended that darker color with the very lightest there. Okay. Now, that's not perfect, but do I care? Absolutely not. Alright. So, I'm going to lighten this up a bit, again, because of the hair being so dark and all that. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to bring in some blue to the hat, because I happen to like blue. Okay, so in this case, I'm not going to be too technical. This is just a B32, which is a pale blue. Although, this has ears. Do you guys think it matters that she's got little ears? Because I'm not sure if she's supposed to look like a teddy bear or something. I really don't get it. But I don't have girls, so I think she's adorable. Yeah, she's a cutie pie. The last time that I used this stamp, gosh, I think it was 2 years ago, so I thought, you know what? She needs to come out of hiding. But I'm gonna go ahead with the blue. I just happen to like it. So let's go in with this B32. I just want to go around the border or the edge here. And as you can tell there, I am flicking because I'm thinking of the shape of the hat, okay? And you can always move the paper, guys. I just have it here on a magnet because I want it to be in frame. But move your papers. And if you don't hit the very edge of your image, if you're sort of getting there but not quite, don't worry about it, because it's okay to have that little border there. It actually creates a little bit of a highlight. So she's turning around here and I'm flicking. So you need to find what's comfortable for your hand also. And then on the little ear here, I'm just going to pounce. Just going to do little dots there. But I'm allowing room for a highlight, if you could tell there. I'm going to go on the interior of that little ear and finish my little flick marks there. Okay? And then down here, I'm just going to create a little line as if there's a highlight down there. Okay? Let's straighten her up so she doesn't get dizzy. See that? So I'm following basically the shape of that hat. It's domed, it's not a flat surface, so you don't have to color lines that are back and forth like this, like we used to do in kindergarten. Whenever you find yourself doing this motion, beware, you're going to get nothing but angles and straight lines. So that's why the flicking is recommended when you're coloring. Oh, okay, so it's a beanie hat. It's really cute. I would totally wear something like that when I was younger. I think it's adorable. This, by the way, is BG10. Now there's B for blue and G for green. So you can blend this out. As you can see, I'm just going right over what I just colored. And there's a tiny hint of green in this color, which I think is adorable. And it's going to look really nice against that the brown that you see there. So if you can see there, I did my flicking motion, but with what do you call it? Broader strokes. Couldn't think of the word. And I'm gonna go over what I just colored there. Just like that. I'm gonna give it some texture, but that's okay. Okay, and if you can tell, that little white border that I had on top completely disappeared. Okay. Can go in a little bit more if you need to. And then I'm gonna go over the little ears, but I'm gonna leave that little space there for the, I guess what we would consider the inside of the ear. I'm gonna blend this a tiny bit more here. Just like that. Now I'm leaving this center part very, very light. It's barely even colored, and I'm doing that on purpose to give it a highlight against the edge or border of that hat. So let me show you that. Okay, and hopefully the lighting's okay on that. Okay, so we can do the same with the dress. We can use the same colors. But I think I'm going to go a tiny bit darker on the dress. So, I had used B32 as my shade here. Thank you very much. I'm looking now down the spectrum at B34 because it's a bit darker. Okay, so here's B34 called Manganese Blue. And then here's B32, which I just used as a shadow here. And then my highlight is going to remain the same, BG10, Cool Shadow. So let's go with the B34, which is our darkest color. Start off with that. Let me move her up here. And I'm going to head up. She's wearing like a little jumper style dress. I'm going to go right underneath here. This is going to be a bit tricky, and I forgot to color her thumb, so remind me so I can go back and color in her thumb. I'm barely dotting this at this point, and again, this is where colored pencils will come in handy, because any little gaps that you get in there, you can totally cheat and do that. So I'm going to add some down here toward this little line also, just a little shadow there because her hands are there. So they are casting a shadow. And that could be an entirely other video, right? Talking about shadows. But let's go with our medium tone here, B32. It's going to go right on top of what we just colored. And I'm literally just pouncing it, because the alcohol is going to do all the blending for you in this case. So no need to do lines in that space. Thank you. All right, our third color is going to be the lightest, and again you're coloring right over what you just did. And just being very gentle. Some of this, you know, it's time consuming obviously because you're having to be gentle with your paper, but I think the payoff is great. Now let's do that on a larger scale. I got the painful part out of the way. Let's go with B34. Oh, you're so welcome, Eve. I'm very blessed that, you know, that there are people willing to watch. So let's do the flicking again from top to bottom in this case, because her dress fabric will more than likely be hanging this way, right? So let's do that here. Okay, and then on the sides you can create a border going down if you want to. You could do the flicking toward the inside if you wanted to. I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way. And then I'm going to go right just to here. I'm not going to go any farther than that for now. Let's go with B32. Right on top. And I'm going to drag it down as far as I can there. Same with the sides. Okay, now I'm going to start pulling that in. Doing it here. And dragging it in on the sides, okay? Now, Before I hit my third color, I'm going to go back in with that dark color and go behind the kitty cat's ear. And this little area here has a shadow because the cat's overlapping it. And then I'm going to just create myself a little bit of a border down here. Not necessarily hitting the edge. Just a little. And I hope I was in frame. Oh goodness, I feel like I need someone to yell at me. There we go. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Hopefully I can, I mean, I don't know if you guys are interested in a series or anything like that, please let me know. So here's our medium tone. Flicking up in this case because I want to blend what's there. Okay. And let's face it, there's no way you can blend that by coloring down into it. So that's why I'm going up. Okay, and I did do twice, but that's okay. I'm going to do now my lightest color, and this is what's going to saturate everything. It's kind of like a wash, if you want to look at it that way. And we're going to go ahead and get everyone in there. That's how I look at it. It's kind of like we're gathering everybody toward the middle here. Okay. And I'm going to go sideways here. So I want to blend from the, you know, have the darkest to the lightest, just like that. And it's almost like a crosshatch motion here, but it'll all blend, and even within 24 hours you'll see a difference. I wish I could show you the card I made yesterday, but it's gone. But let me show you something really quick. Okay. I'm ashamed to say that I haven't sent this out in the mail yet, but just for the sake of argument, if you see this little bunny, I did color him in with alcohol markers, and then I finished him off with pencils, and you see how it all blends in and it looks like one printed image. And this was using Copics as well as the Prismacolor pencils. So that's what you're going to see today, is that it will blend. Oh, you want a makeup series? Girl, if I didn't have as many wrinkles on my face, I could do one, but not anymore. Those days are over. I've retired. Oh my gosh. I just happened to see a video, you know, Instagram, how you fall into a rabbit hole. I saw a video this morning and I clicked on it because, you know, curiosity killed the cat, right? I clicked on it and I was so intrigued because of the story this young lady was saying, talking about. She said she was the victim of kidnapping by, it started off with the good intentions of her parents to try to straighten her out when she was a teenager. She was a bit rebellious and she dropped out of school and whatnot, and they sent her to a camp, or a school I should say, and it turned out to be completely torturous and really bad, and I felt so bad for her. But she's a makeup artist. Maybe you guys know who she is. You'll have to rewind it. But yeah, that's definitely, it's a really good idea. And not only that, but you can take the tips that work for you and ignore the rest. You don't have to necessarily do everything the exact same way. But what I want to do is to show you how you can start off with this base. Now, the paper that I'm using is not top of the line Copic paper, just to let you know. It's just some paper I have on hand. I honestly don't even know what brand it is, but I want to show you there's some bleeding here that happened because I didn't use Copic paper. Now, with Copic paper, that wouldn't happen. So if you use, let's just say, mixed media paper, I'm sorry, depending on the grain of the paper and how it absorbs, that can happen. Okay, now I know that that's something that I have to deal with, and it's really up to me whether or not I want to just cut this image out when I'm done, which is more than likely what I'll end up doing, or if I just want to paint over it. That's another option, you know. Again, I don't take it too seriously, so to me this is just something that I'm coloring for fun. But bear that in mind. If you really want to get serious with it, you may want to invest in the more expensive paper. I haven't even bothered with it at this point. So let's go ahead and do a different color for the boots. I think we should go a little bit darker. So, yep. Some of these colors are not very forgiving either, so bear that in mind. And what I mean is if you make a mistake, you'll be stuck. Whereas there is this colorless blender that you can use, and there's a possibility I could remove some of that if I really want to. So you're not stuck with a mistake, just so you know. I'm going to try to, let's see here, zoom out a little bit. Yes, there are options, you know. Let's see here. So this is, okay, I got talking and I lost my train of thought. Let's go with, no, I'm not gonna do that. Let's see here. Sorry guys, I'm thinking of my options here because I have more than one option, so bear with me 1 second because I can darken it like so, but that's gonna go a little bit green. Choices. Sometimes it's harder when you have more choices. Let's see here. I'm just looking. Okay, yep, I'm gonna commit. I don't like to be too indecisive. Alright, we're gonna go with B99 right here, just for the sake of going from like light to dark. And I'm just gonna start at the tips of her boots here, and again, not so close to the edge. And this one as well. Okay. And let's see if I can explain this in color at the same time. I like to leave a little bit of, yes, no worries. I like to leave a little bit of highlight in the center. I like to picture that, again, the same way that I have my highlight in the center here and in the center here. And that's as if the light is hitting from, you know, right on. And I hope that makes sense. So let's go with B34, which is what we used on the dress, right on top. And I'm going to try, and you know what, if I goof it up, I'll just paint it on later. I'm not even going to worry too much. But I'm going to try to blend here because it's a bit harder. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit harder when the image is so small, when you have small spaces. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this out to the edge a bit more, like so. But I hope it starts making sense in a minute. Okay, so you can always go back, and then our third color, let's see here. Yep, our third color will be B32, which we also used on the dress. I'm gonna move that, start moving it up. And again, this is creating shading, but you're allowing yourself the opportunity to make it darker if you need to. I'm just trying not to oversaturate this paper because, as I mentioned before, it's not Copic paper and I was out of frame. Guys, I apologize. Alright, let me move her this way. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to go over what I had already colored and pull that ink up. And then I'm going to go down in this direction here. Okay. It's hard to resist the temptation of layering and layering and layering, but sometimes you have to for the sake of your drawing. Alright, so here, this didn't blend out too beautifully, so I'm going to go back with the medium tone, which was my B34. I'm I'm gonna add a little bit more just on the edges of the image here. Okay, just like that. And then my lightest tone on top of that. So is anyone other than Eve crafting today? You ladies making any special projects? I'm making myself a little edge here, ladies, just so you know, with this lightest color, following the same shape of that boot, just like that. Sorry guys. Oh, memory decks cards, yes. I was tempted to do that with this, but I forgot to cut one out. So I just wanted to go ahead and start the video. But that would be adorable, actually. And I don't know if I have any empty ones, you know, the bases. I don't know if I have any around. But this might actually be a little too big for that. It would be really adorable, though, even if it was, you know, cut halfway. Let me zoom out again. Okay, thank you, Karen. Alright, I'm going to go in with some lighter colors for her shirt and the little stripes there. I have this color here. Let's see here. It's a pale blue and the cool shadow that I was just using. These colors, even though they're very light, they can definitely be used as shadows as well. Okay? And even especially if you layer them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly that. I'm just going to use this as a little bit of a shadow on this image because I don't want to add too much color there to her outfit. So I'm just going right under her hair. It looks like I missed another spot there. Guys, I don't know what's going on with me today. But I'm just going here exactly where she would have some shadows on her arm, or the shadow that her arm would create on the sleeve, which again does not have to be right at the border, just like that. And then I'm going to do the same with the little stripes. Let me zoom in a little. Alright, Karen, I don't know if you can see a little bit better there. Hopefully you can. And then here, I'm just hitting the side here of the stripes. Just the edges there. Just like that. Okay. And if you want to, you can even layer it right on top of that other color that just got laid down. Okay. And it's basically creating shadow without having to use the color gray. Just another option. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Maybe add a little bit more of this pale blue-gray. So keep that in mind, even if you're using colored pencils. You can do some shadow with blues and grays. You don't always have to use, I'm sorry, with blues and lavenders. You don't always have to use gray. And again, this is the BG10. I'm going right over what I just did. Hopefully you can start seeing the difference. Just like that. And I want to do the same on her little socks. Oh, pop-up cards. Awesome. Karen, do you use a die or do you use an electronic machine? Because for instance, I have the Cameo and I know I can make pop-up cards with the Cameo. And I don't know if a lot of people know that who own the Cameo machine. But that is a feature You can turn any card into a pop-up card with it, which is really cool because they're so much fun. But yeah, I'll be on the lookout. Okay, so B60 again is going to be my little shadow on her little tights there. Just like that. And then I'm just going to go down on the sides. I'm disregarding the little stars for now, by the way. It's kind of the sides there. And then I'm going to do the same, overlapping this BG10 right on top. Now the shadow is coming from the fact that she's wearing the little dress. So that's casting a shadow onto her little legs there. So you would do the same if you were doing a skin tone. Darker, you know, to lighter. And then I'm just going to do a tiny little shadow here just because she's wearing boots. Okay. So it's essentially I'm drawing like little rectangles there, if you will. I'm layering this darker color. And I'm literally just dotting it there because it's a delicate image. Okay, now, I mentioned before, I goofed here, so I'm going to do that really fast. Just going to go ahead and fix that right there. Because I want her entire dress to be colored. Just like that. And our lightest was this blue. And there we are. So there's that. And her little thumb. I don't want to cut off any of her fingers. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and touch there. Okay. Alright, so that would be it for her if I want to stop here with just the alcohol markers. However, I did mention that I was going to show you a tip or two with the pencils. So this is where the depth will come in, because you can then look at your pencils. Look here and find pencils that are very compatible to your markers. Now if you see here, this is what I was doing, swatching my colors before coloring. So in the same manner, you can take, sorry guys, you can take your colors here and swatch out your pencils if you're new to coloring, or if you're not wanting to pull out your, you know, your papers. You can do this as you go, by the way. But I have here, let's see here, peacock blue. Sounds like my cat stopped by to say hello here, but I think that's a little too green. Okay, I have this color here, which is Ultramarine. And this is a Prismacolor pencil here. This will match the bottom of the boots here. So again, as I had mentioned before, oh, thank you, Karen. Wow, I'm flattered. Very flattered that you would say that. Because you could be doing a million other things. Alright, so let's look at her little boots here. So there's a little white spot there, for instance, and maybe the texture is not so perfect. I can go in with my pencil now and literally like fill in any little gaps. And not only that, I can start giving my little doll here that grungy kind of texture that Gorguss girls have. If you've ever looked at the images up close, they don't have like this perfect looking look to them. I don't know how else to explain it. They're a little bit grungy. So I'm moving my paper here so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm doing the same flicking motion with the pencil of just adding a little bit of color there, and then I can definitely blend this out as well. Now this is a little bit bright, but I like that contrast. It matches the bottom most part there of her boots. So just filling in here and there, and then I'm adding a little bit of texture just on the edges of those boots. And maybe now you can figure out why I was not being so, you know, trying to be too perfect with the coloring. It's because I was going to incorporate the pencils. So you see there, it adds a little bit more texture, and now I'm going to blend it out a tiny bit. And I don't know if you guys can see that. I hope that you can. I've got here, this one's called Light Cerulean Blue. And this is PC 904, which I just flung. PC 904. Lord have mercy. Okay. I have a tendency to do that. Just fling things across the room. I'm just going to blend out what I just did a tiny, tiny little bit. Very gently. Centimeter by centimeter. What type of tutorials, Karen? Because the best I could do is do a tutorial with an Indian accent, but I don't think that's gonna help. That would just offend some of my friends. Oh gosh. But I don't do I better stop myself. I don't do centimeters. I do, you know, I mean I can, but I don't think I would be popular in that market because I'm so used to, you know, measuring in inches. Okay, so I don't know if you guys see the difference there. It's kind of difficult to translate this sort of thing into video, but let me show you how you can do the highlight now. There we go. You can use a pencil such as this one, which is a cream color, and this is PC 914, and just draw a little line right in the center here of the boot. And that's going to allow you to have that little bit of highlight there. If you want to give it texture, you can do that by drawing the little lines that would be kind of the texture of the material of the boot. You could do that. It doesn't have to be a straight up and down line. But there you have some highlight on that as well. Okay. So let's move on to her hair, okay? Because here I wanted to show you that you can add a bit more texture also. This is number PC 943, okay? Again, compatible with some of this brown. And here you can do the same flicking motions. And it's a bit on the red side, but I think that it'll look really cute because it's gonna give it that texture of hair instead of just being one solid color there. And again, from the bottom up there. Now normally I would be going a whole lot faster than this, guys, just to let you know. You don't have to take this long to color an image, but if I'm going to show you the techniques, then, you know, I can't rush too much. Now you guys let me know, am I in focus? I want to make sure that I am. Let me see if I am here. Here we go. I think so. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing up here. Little lines, very short strokes, because you're just laying down a tiny bit of color. And you might be wondering why you would bother if you just colored with alcohol markers, but it allows you to add a bit more definition. And I think it also gives it a kind of like a gentle texture. I don't know. But there's that. And I'm being a little bit more careful on this end. Okay, and then I want to do a little bit here on her cheeks. Karen got my sense of humor. I appreciate that, Karen. Alright, so I'm just going to blend here with, oh, I'm sorry, this is PC 929. Okay? Alright. I'm just going to blend a tiny bit here, right on top of those cheeks. Okay? And again, tomorrow, once this is completely dry, it's going to look even softer than it does today. It's really amazing how that works. And I'm going to neutralize that with a PC 939, which is almost like a peachy color. And when I say neutralize, it's not a chemical thing. It's just, you know, it's going to make the color look a little bit more neutral. Okay, especially since I'm essentially making a cheek where there isn't one, because these images don't have a nose or a mouth, so you have to pretend, you know, kind of give it direction. If you want to, you can also draw a little line here in the center or shade it in to give it kind of that facial structure, if you will. And I like to do the same thing on the hands. Just add a little bit more color there. I don't know if that looks the same on camera. Oh, thank you, Karen. Thank you so much. Now, I want to do the same thing with the hat, just to give it a tiny bit of texture there. So let me just move this just a tiny bit here on the top. And this is just personal preference again. I feel like it's fun to give it texture. I'm going to follow that same little line I had drawn earlier. Just kind of extending that a little bit. And this can be very therapeutic, by the way. If you're really having a stressful day, it's going to be a lot of fun. I am going to take the white here and just go right over that a tiny little bit, just to soften that line. Same here. It'll also create a bit of a highlight on that border and over here, but toward the inside of the hat. I hope that makes sense. Okay, now let's add a little bit of pink to those ears, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it with a pencil so that I don't ruin it. Okay, this is PC 928. Just a little pink there. Okay. What else? What else? Let's see here. If you wanted to add color here to the little stripes, which actually I think I should, you can definitely do the same thing, even though I had colored it with the blues. It's just going to layer really nicely right on top. I'm just going to give it that tiny bit of color, which I feel this image needs. Okay, so if you see, it just blends really nicely. You don't get like a stark difference there. And that's because the color underneath is complementary to the one right on top. Okay? See that? And then I don't get any of that bleeding on such a small image. So I would say that these two types of material, they just go hand in hand. Okay, now let's do the little stars. Thank you. I'm gonna move her up here and then zoom in on her little legs. Just there. Okay, let's go in that little area there. And here we can be a little bit bolder because it's a smaller little image there. And I'm just going to go ahead and use a pencil again in this case. And this one is PC 929. Because if I use that super light pink, it might not even show. Okay, I'm just going to do that. Or you could do a yellow. Yellow would be really cute too, of course, but since I'm doing kind of a monochromatic palette, as I always do, then I may as well stay with the pink. Now let's color that little cat. I'm going to go in with a very light, let's see here. Cat's probably going to end up looking like the little girl if I'm not too careful. So let's do some yellows. Bear with me, ladies. I'm going to do, let's see here, tan, yellow, but I don't want it to look too brown. And maybe this yellow. Yep, I think I found my colors. Alright, so I'm going to start off with Maize, which is Y35. Thank you for the thumbs up. Very generous. And I can afford to zoom out a tiny little bit. Okay, just like that. Alright. So I'm going to start here on this little ear and do the little stripes here, but I'm also going kind of close to that edge there. Not exactly to the edge, but close. Okay. And this is, what do you call these cats? Tabby? Is it a tabby cat if it has stripes? I think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what they're called. Okay, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself, so I'm just going to stop myself there. Now, you may think that I did this in the wrong order. You can tell me that I did it in the wrong order. I'm not going to worry too much about it. This is E31, which is essentially going to be the shadow on this little cat. But I'm just going to go right over that. It should have been the other way around. I should have done this one first. But, again, I'm just following the outline a little bit here. And then those little stripes. So to make it correct, okay, just to let you guys know, because you should be doing the shadow first. Let's go over that with that yellow again. Same color yellow. And I'm barely touching this. Okay, just like that. And now I'm going to go in with my lightest, which is going to be, in this case, Y21. Hi, Rosh. Thank you so much. Rosh, you're new to my channel, aren't you? Because you just recently left me a comment, I believe. Yes, Eve, you're right. You can, I mean, you can do as much or as little as you want. But if you have the materials, as I always say, if you have it, use it. Don't, you know, don't leave it sitting on a shelf. Get it all out. Start playing around. Have some fun. Okay, so if you saw what I did there, I started pulling from the edges and going toward the center. Now the lightest part of this little cat is going to be like her little forehead there. So that's where I'm going to add the smallest amount of ink. Okay. So again, doing the same motion of pulling that color in, I'm going to go from the edge in. Making sure to saturate there the paper, but not going too close to the edge so that I get that bleeding like I did with the dress. Let's learn from our mistakes, right? But Rosh, I welcome you here. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for your lovely feedback on the other video. I'm not sure if I wrote or not. I can't remember because I think I was looking at the comments on my other device, so I apologize if I haven't said anything. I like to make sure that I say hi to everyone and, you know, respond. So here I'm adding the shadow, and I'm also making sure that I color in the little shadows that have already been drawn there by the illustrator. Okay, so you saw I went a bit dark there with that E31. Then back to my Y35. Okay, layering right on top of what I just did. A little bit heavier. Using the same flicking motions. Okay. Am I losing part of the tail there? I think I am. There we go. No, there's no need to add dark colors toward the end of the tail there. You can, but you don't have to. And then I'm gonna do my lightest Y21 on all of it here. Again, blending all of that out. And then here, the lightest part of this little kitty cat will be right on her chest there. So that's where I'm going to use the least amount of color there. And then I'm blending that little tail again. And then I just have a tiny bit of room there. So I'm going to go ahead and add that yellow on top. And it won't cast a darker shadow, okay? If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Thank you, Rosh. That's a huge compliment. I really, truly appreciate it. Okay, I just did her tiny little paw there, just very, very lightly. And again with the yellow. I'm not even going to bother with the highlight because that's a very, you know, it would have a dark shadow from the little boot being in front. Now, if you see, that little boot bled a little bit. So I can go back in with the yellow pencil that I have here. In this case, it's going to be PC1003. This one here. And then I can color in that little paw. I can also go into that little part of the tail that got a little bit of blue on it. Okay. And that's completely optional, but if you want to do that, you can. And the reason I didn't do the color blender is because of that dark blue. I know that it's not really going to budge, so that's as good as that's going to get. You can definitely go back with browns and darken in the little stripes if you want to. I can use the same pencil. I believe this is the one that I was using on her hair, PC943, and just do a tiny, tiny little darkening of those little stripes, depending on, you know, whatever color you're using on your little kitty cat. Just a little bit there. Again, anytime you can add depth, if you have the room for it, why not? Okay, there's that. Now, what color do we make the heart? And thank you for the thumbs up, guys. What color do we want to make that heart? Thank you, Eve. Yeah, it can be relaxing. I love watching coloring videos too. It totally puts me in a zone. But let me know, what color do you guys think I should make that heart into? Should I go ahead and use pink? Pink? Okay, so Eve says pink. I'm going to take a sip of water. And I don't see anyone else chiming in, but I'm guessing pink is okay? If you wanted to be, I'm not going to say lazy, if you want to be smart, you can always cut her out with the kitty cat once you're done, right? You're done coloring, cut her out, and then stamp the image again and cut out the heart. No one else wants to talk. Eve, they're all on gag order. Or I can stamp it on paper. Do you guys want me to use a pattern paper? I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Okay, Rosh says pink. Do you want to see me color some more, or do you want to see me paper piece it? I like to laugh, guys, so I'm gonna make jokes. Do you want to see me paper piece it, or would you like to see me just color it some more? It's up to you guys. I'm leaving it to the assembly. I've got 2 for pink. Anybody for paper? Color, please. All right. Let's get out the pinks. Let's see here. Pink, 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 pink. All right, this is a red violet. Let me see if I want to bother with this. I have one here that's really nice and bright. If you're a pink lover, this is right up your alley. RV13. Oh, this phone. This one, okay? Just to let you know. I've got this one. It's called Light Prawn. Very sweet and soft. And then I've got, let's see here, Rose Mist. I think, bear with me guys, I'm looking here at which color I should go with. Choices, choices. I think that I can use B32 as my base here, and then go on top of it with the pink, let's see here, and this pink. Alright, so I think I'm gonna go in this direction. Let's see what happens. I'm being a little bit experimental here. So, okay, so let's go with B32. This is going to be my undercolor. And if I'm saying that wrong, I apologize, but let's go into that little heart. Here we go. Okay, B32. You might be asking yourself why. You're going to see. So here's a shadow back here. She's standing in front of this little heart. So there's absolutely no light hitting that surface right now. She's blocking the light. Okay. Like that. And again, get the difficulty or the difficult parts out of the way first, and then do the rest. Okay. R83. Right on top of that. Okay. And I'm not even hitting that edge, that wall, if you will. And then my third color, RV13, right on top. And again, remember there's a chemical reaction that happens here. Now there is some blue in this color. It's actually, there's some violet. So there's that. Just want to make sure my tip is clean there. So this violet, this red violet will, or tender pink, whatever it's called, will mix very well with a blue if you're using a blue for a shadow. So I'm going to go ahead and start flicking motions here, just like that. And this might be a very textured heart, but it's okay. Sometimes you have to dot the color. And I'm gonna go ahead with my, let's see here. I keep forgetting which one's brighter, but I'm gonna go ahead with my RV color here, red violet. Dotting it right on top here. And then I'm going to saturate it with the R83. Just like that. And you could definitely go lighter. It's really up to you. Okay. But there's that little edge there. And then I'm going to just do the same, sorry, got the wrong tip there. Same close to the hair here. If I get quiet, it's just because I'm trying to concentrate. Same here, adding very little color, not too much. And here. And here, close to her. Okay. Second color here. Layering right on top. And this is a quite bright pink, but it is, I think it's such a happy color. And then let's go down here. And again, your speed, you should go faster with the darkest color. If I didn't mention that before, I think I did, but just in case. And then saturate it more with this third color here. Okay, just like that. Go in here. Quite a bit more pink there. And now I can start moving in this direction. Okay? Because I didn't want it to be too dark. Just where it calls for a shadow. Okay? Alright, I'm going to do the same thing down here. Because the little kitty cat is casting a shadow onto the heart. Oh, wonderful, Rosh. Yeah, they're so much fun, and I had neglected mine. I said that in another video where I was talking about, you know, using what you have. And I said I'm just as guilty as anyone else because I've had these stamps, which I absolutely love. I don't think anything goes out of fashion, by the way, when it comes to crafting. I think you should just craft with whatever you like. I don't think you have to follow a trend, even though I'm, you know, again, I like everything, so. But if you have materials and they're just sitting there, then you can challenge yourself to use them with what you're, you know, with your new materials. And in this case, my new materials are the Copics. Then I pulled out my old materials, which are the stamps, so that I'm not, you know, just having them sit there collecting dust, because how shameful is that, right? So you saw what I did there. Same, you know, concept of saturating that. Now I'm going to add a bit of this on the edge here. Again, this is just going to be a nice grungy heart, if you will. So I'm not going to be too particular because this is going to add texture, guys. Okay. I'm adding my texture with this dark color. I just created sort of like a wall there, but not too precise. Then my medium color, which in this case is just going to be this crazy neon kind of pink, going right over what I just colored there, and extending it out also. Just like that. Now if you're going for a more subtle color, then just do this with either less colors if you want to, or you can just go very, very light. You don't have to use such bright colors. I wanted to go ahead and use these because they're, I think this is just a fun Fun Color palette. Okay, so now I'm pulling it in, but I'm also being mindful of the fact that I want to cover what I colored just now. Okay. I want to saturate that, let it have its chemical reaction that it's going to have, and then pull the color. And obviously there's some texture there for now, but it's going to blend in. Okay, you can tell I was not very particular about the edge there either, because I'm going to cut this image out. I'm not going to sweat it. Okay. Fun, fun, fun. All right, now let's get out the scissors and do some fussy cutting, but first I'm going to address this little space here. So again, let's get out that pink. And in this case, it's PC 929, which I believe we've already used. And I'm just going to go right to that edge. Fill in any gaps. Now, if you want to do the same coloring as I had done to make the shadows, then of course you can do the blue first and then do the pink right on top. And it'll have the same effect. Okay, I'm just cleaning this up, and I am going to apply a little bit of that blue that I mentioned, which is the PC 904. I'm going to go right back in there. Okay, and again with the pink. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that, and now I'm going to cut it out, and I think this is going to make a really cute image on top of a different color, because if you leave it on the stark white, I mean, I could start coloring all around it, but I'm not even going to bother with that. I think it's going to look really cute if I just cut it out. So I'm just going to, I like to start off with the major shape here. Now, since I have you guys here, if you're not new to my channel and you know what I generally work with, let me know, because it's going to depend on you guys how long you're here with me. I'm going to leave it up to you. Let me know if there's anything in particular you would like me to do with this image, because I'm game. So long as you guys are in, you know, if you want me to stop here, I will. If not, then you guys let me know. So you guys mull it over, and I will be fussy cutting, as you think. And by the way, I was coloring right on top of my stamp platform, but that washes off with alcohol, if you happen to have one. Or if you're just coloring on a surface that's glass, you can clean it off with alcohol, especially, you know, if you're using alcohol inks. You don't have to worry about that too much. So I think everyone's on gag order again. Hear that? Or you ladies are like me and you're multitasking. All trying not to cut off her hair. There's one little bit. Another little bit. Now, just to let you know, if you like to, a cute box, okay, that's not a bad idea. I'm gonna see, you know what? I'm gonna see which box die I have. I'll let you guys choose. Of course, the dimension has to fit. Let's see here. But I've got quite a bit of, I think I've got some choices here. I'll show you what I have. You guys let me know. Because I've got the TonicStudios dies. I don't have anything cut out with my machine at the moment, so I can't offer to do that. Because then you'd be here, you know, 2 days. I'm not going to do that. Okay. Unless you want to come back on a different video and see, you know, the box ready made. That's up to you. Okay, but sorry to be moving slow here with the cutting. I just don't want to ruin this after all that coloring. Yes, you're right. A little, you know what? I think I have a pillow box. I'm going to take a look and see. Because I have one. And the reason I got quiet is because I'm thinking of the boxes that I have. I generally don't even keep. I think I have one, for instance, I have this one. But this is too big an image for that. And I generally don't keep what I make. So I'm trying to think if I even remember the dimensions of the boxes that I have. But I think I have one in particular that would work. Let me finish cutting this and then I'll show you guys the dies that I have. And of course a rectangular box would always be easy. I'm trying to fussy cut like a right-handed person here, guys. But we're almost there. Got that part there. And then this bottom part here. Now, depending on the background, just to give you another little tip, if you're placing this on a background that's a different color, you can just color in that little bit to match whatever you place it on. So that way you don't have to worry about fussy cutting one little part of that image there that's white. Instead of, you know, you don't have to drive yourself crazy with this stuff either. The box dies? Absolutely, yes. Let me get those and then I'll finish this once I showed you those. Absolutely. Be right back. Oh, you know what? I've got this one. This is the little mailbox. I've got that. So that's one option. And what came to mind was actually this. So that was another option. I know it's not a box, but it's a bag and it would look really cute with that. So, I don't know. Do you guys think I should use either one of these? It would require some die cutting, but I can tell you right now, let's see, this is 1, Let's see, this, I mean, it looks like a lot, but it's not too crazy. I don't know. Hi Carolyn, Happy New Year. You like the second one, this one here? If you want to, I can do that one, because I think this one would be even easier, to be honest. I hope you're doing well, Carolyn. I've been away for a while, so this is my only, what is this? Only my second video of the year, but I was asked to do a coloring video, so thank you so much. All right, Rosh, I'm game. Let's make this box, okay? So I'm gonna try to cut it as fast as humanly possible. Or do you care if I use this one? Because this one's already open. I haven't even used this yet. Yeah, this does remind you. You know what? Let's go with that one then. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure the magnets are not stuck on this. All right, I'm gonna move this aside for just 1 second. Okay, because we're done with the stamping. I've got some white core cardstock here. This is from, it's either, yeah, Coordinations, and it's a pearlescent white. So let's open this puppy up. And then I have pink paper, of course. Oh, let's see if I can open it. This is the hardest part for me. There we go. They come with these little buttons and they're quite strong. But let's take this out. And this is not a new die, but it's new to me, obviously, because I've not even taken it out of the packaging. Shame, shame. But there we go. Woo! All right. So if you've never seen one of these, they're quite large, so you can see there. Thank you, Carolyn. So this video has been all about coloring that one little girl, if you can believe it. Took me forever and a day, but that's what happens when you're not, you know, coloring on your own. Okay, so this will be the bottom layer of our little bag here. And bear with me, I have very weak hands, but here we go, got it off. So this is gonna be the base. Let's go ahead and cut this out 2 times. So in order to do that, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this paper down really fast first. I'm gonna require a bit of patience from you guys because I do have to get this stuff out of the way so that I don't wreak havoc all over my desk here. So I've got the pencils out, markers out, but I'm just gonna move some stuff out of the way. The good thing is that I can clean up later. Just gonna move some things out of the way real fast. Okay. All right, so I want to remain with what I'm going to work with. Cut this paper down and then we can start cutting our box. Thank you so much. Yes, you know what? I love boxes also. I just wasn't sure. The other box that came to mind was a pillow box, but I think it would be too small, to be honest. So this is 8 inches, maybe not even, but I'm just going to cut it down to 8 just to make my life easier. So I hope you guys have had, I don't think I've seen any of you, and you know, quote unquote seen, since last year. So I hope you guys all had a great Christmas, New Year season. I wish I could tilt this up a bit. Maybe I can. Let me see, guys. Can I? I'm trying to see if I can. No, my phone's not going to cooperate, so I'm stuck there, guys. Sorry about that. I had adjusted the camera for coloring, but you're going to hear my machine, which is the Empress. I'm just going to place my die here. Now this is one of the really big dies, so there's no two ways about it. You have to have a big plate, see that? And then this will cut out that paper. I think I can cut 2 at a time. I'm hoping that it works. So let's give it a try. Okay. Some days are better than others with these dies, but let's give that a try. My holiday was phenomenal. I know, it's insane. January's almost done and I feel like I just got back. So to answer your question, I got to see my family, thank God. I was happy enough to be able to travel. I had gone to Puerto Rico to see my mother because she had been in the hospital, sadly. So I was quite concerned for her. However, I can report God is good. She's, out of the hospital. She was only there for a week. And she's home. So my husband and I went to visit her. She's doing great, considering, all things considered, I should say. So you're seeing me here cut this out because I did put 2 pieces of paper in there at once. Now, this cuts out a little slit. Let's disregard that for now. I'm just going to cut this away because I only need 1 of these little tabs to make this bag. Okay, and then the piece of paper that was closest to the die is going to have the most detail, and that's this one here. So this is the tab that I would choose to use. Okay, let me show you the difference. See that? And that? This is the prettier one, so obviously that's the one that I'm going to want to use to close the bag, which would be like that, if and you have the option of, with these types of bags, of not even using that. So that's just a little tip there, okay? But yeah, had a wonderful, wonderful time down there. Hi, Chris. Welcome, welcome. Oh goodness, I almost broke I was looking at the chat. Almost broke the die. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to use that same die set to cut. Let's see here. Let's do at least 1 layer of paper before we stick that little doll down. So let's do the solid layer. Oh, what does that say? Oh, it says yum. I didn't even know that. Guys, that says yum. I didn't know that die came with that. That's so cool. That's perfect for Valentine's Day if you're going to give someone some little treats, right? Isn't that sweet? Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, here we go. All right. But I hope you guys were able to get together with loved ones, because that's, it's really important. You can't take time for granted. Time with loved ones for granted. All right, so I'm going to attempt to cut these 2 now in a pretty paper. I happen to have this paper. This is Maggie Holmes paper. She doesn't quite match though. Let me see something, because she's gonna go on there. And she's even a little bit big for that. I have this paper. I think I'm going to go with this one. Okay. Just because it's a little bit more kind of childish, just like, the image here. So let's go with that one. Got my 2 base pieces here. I'm going to use these 2 guys. So let me move this out of the way for 1 second. And I like to see, how big do I need this to be? Cut it accordingly. That way I can cut 2 pieces at a time like I did before. Right about there. So this is going to be about 5 1/4. Whatever I can do to make it easier for myself. Okay. Oh, and the other side of that is this pink color, which is cute too. In fact, let me see if that matches or if that's... no, I'd have to layer something else on it. But I hope you guys had a fun time with your family. Oh, yes. It does, you're right. And Chris, you're absolutely right. You gotta watch Carolyn's videos. She's extremely creative, so if you've never been to her channel, be sure to do that. As well as all the other ladies here. I don't know who's still with me, but I think a few of you ladies are still with me here. I know that people come and go, so alright, so I'm going to place this here and then this one here so that I can get all of my die cutting done at once. I'm going to place this on my magnet, this one here, just like that, and this on top. So this is the layering here. And then of course this has some inlay pieces that are really gorgeous if you want to go that route. I'm not going to do that today just because I've already been here almost 2 hours. But I will keep it simple, you know. And then you guys will still see the results. Here's the 2 papers that layer on top of that. Okay, and you could also do it like this if you wanted to, you know, which I think that's what I'm going to do. Add a little bit of contrast there. And I think these 2 guys are kind of necessary, aren't they? Because if not, that box is going to be a little bit boring. I'm going to cut these out real quick. Put these guys back. You get to see the 500 steps you have to take in order to get a project done, right? What else can I put on there? Let's go ahead and get this tag out of here. All the little bits. Guys, I'm so sorry that I take so long, but I really don't have very strong hands. There we go. And these guys. Let's get that off of there. Oh, come on now. I think I can. Oh, those are two different corners. I just noticed. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and do these in, let's see, what color? What color? I guess that hot pink would be cute. I have more of that paper, so I can go ahead and do that. And I'm sorry you guys can't see what I'm doing here, but I'm just going to cut this piece of paper. And this is where I wish I could have changed the angle of that, the camera. But, let's see. I'm going to give this a try. Oopsie, nope, moved. So what traditions do you guys have? I'm curious. For those of you who celebrate Christmas, since that just passed and we, you know, thank you, Chris. Oh my gosh, I wish you guys could see what just happened. I'm always guilty of flinging my stuff across the room. That went off like a projectile. Oh my gosh. So here's the other pieces that I needed. I just accidentally let them fly. Lord have mercy. I think I got it. Oh my gosh, even the dies flew off of the thing. Holy moly. I'm missing a piece of paper. Where'd it go? No. I know it's here somewhere. I have to cut it again. Sorry guys. One of my papers flew away somewhere and I don't know where it landed. Ay, 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 mamma mia. Okay, let's try that again. This is crazy. I don't even know what happened there, but my plate, this big plate flew across the room. It's not one of my videos if something weird and unexpected doesn't happen. I'll tell you that. At least I'm consistent. Alright, I'm almost there, guys. Still cutting. I think we can do this. There we go. This time I was paying attention. Sort of. Alright, I've got my little pieces that are going to go in the box. And the pink and white, whatever. Some of them might not even match, but that's okay. But look at how cute that tag is. Beautiful shape, isn't it? So I could even adhere them back to back like that. Since I'm thinking about it, may as well do it. So let's start there. My poor little thing. There we go. Now this is gonna, oh, I like this tag. I think it's so cute. Okay, so there's that. Glue time. Alright, so we've got our pieces here. Oh, yeah, you know, she, yeah, I'm so happy. Are you talking about me, Chris? Happy and calm? I don't think anyone has ever described me like that, so if you're talking about me, this video just got really funny. Because my husband's in the next room, and I'm sure he's over there shaking his head going, happy and calm? Yeah, right. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I need to print that out and frame it. Raquel is happy and calm. Oh Lord, because that's totally not my MO. I mean, happy, yes, but calm? I don't know about that. I'm a hot mess on a good day. Oh gosh. Alright, so let's see here. I've got my pieces. I think I've got everything. We'll find out. Let's, you know, let's wing it. Alright, so let's start gluing. And of course this would be totally adorable with a pink edge. But this is going to be clean and simple today, guys. Clean and simple. And this paper, I think this is crate paper, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. I just looked to the side and saw a pile of papers and figured this would work. Oh my gosh. Well, you know what, guys? Sometimes you have to either laugh at yourself or cry. I mean, you know, what options do you have? I make so many mistakes on any given day doing all this stuff that I just sit here cracking myself up going, wow, Raquel, you did that? Really? How many years have you been crafting? Oh, gosh. But thank you. I do appreciate it. You guys are very gracious. Because it's not every day, you know, you can tell someone like, hey, I was working on that project and my papers flew across the room. Some people might say like, what is wrong? Alright, so I'm just following these little score lines, guys. Just to let you know, when I'm making a project like this, I like to be nice and gentle with the paper if there's a curve line. Because if not, you're going to rip the paper. It's going to bend funny. You know, you don't want to do that, so... But at least the good news is it's not me being flung across the room, so long as that's not happening, I'm okay. Oh my gosh. I've shared with you guys, I'm very, very clumsy, so nothing new there. Alright, so, oh, I get it now. Okay, so this goes down here. I guess I should have... I totally cut it wrong, but who cares, whatever. I'm gonna do it like this. Now normally I would be dry embossing this or using those really frilly die parts. You guys know how it goes. On a normal day, I'm being very frou-frou as I call it, but today, for the sake of time, I'm just gonna add it like so. I still think I'm missing more pieces. I don't know what I did. Totally missing pieces here. I'm probably gonna have to cut these again. Oh my gosh. Oh, I know. Definitely. We all have our craziness. Wait, how does this even go? Hold on a second, guys. How does it go? Somebody help me. Let's see here. I've never made this, so I don't even know. I suppose you use it if you want to. Does this even go on there? Oh my gosh, I have no idea. Does this go here? I don't know where it goes. Why do I think that this goes here? Oh my gosh. Alright, let me show you the picture. There's the bag. And then here's the back. And it shows those little flag thingies, but you know what? I don't even think... Oh, these are just optional. Guess what? Ugh, I didn't even have to bother with that. Anyway, let's just, for the sake of argument, put these down here. Again, not making much sense here. No, I like these better. Since I think I used the wrong paper, guys. I don't know. I'm questioning myself now. There we go. See what I mean? These little scalloped ones are really pretty, but this one has lettering on it, so I'll go back and I'll fix that. I'll cut it again and layer it right on top, because I like this shape with the little, and I'm going to show you what I mean. This one's got a little scalloped edge there, so I like that one better, but I'm not liking that it's got words on it. Oh, thank you. I'm a bit type A, can you tell? If it's not perfect, I'm like, what? Alright, so let's go with the second layer here. And I swear I had the other piece. What did I do with it? I need an assistant. No clue. Where did she put it? I thought I cut that twice. Guys, I'm losing it. I thought I cut this out twice. Wow, wow, wow. Alright, she's cutting again, guys. I need the piece for here. I don't know what I... Alright, I think I got flustered because that thing flung so far away. I had to go chase after it, so let's try that. I'm going to do this here, just like that. Try not to ruin it. Okay, let's do that. I'm going to try to disregard the other dies that are still hanging out there. And then we'll have our little side piece so that it doesn't look weird. Because it's going to be, you know, incomplete otherwise. But, let's see here. Almost there. There we go. All right. This piece can go here now. And I know what's going to happen. I'm going to find it when I'm not looking for it, because that's what always happens, right? There's that. Yes, Chris. I'm telling you, if one of you guys were, like, lived across the street or something like that, I'd be like, please, somebody help me with these videos. Because it's, you know, it's one thing to do a pre-recorded video, but all of the mistakes happen, of course, when you can't edit them out. When you're trying to do a live video, it's, you know, as we jokingly say, forget about it. It is just not gonna happen. Alright. Beautiful little layer number 4. It's gonna go on the side. And that's gonna go right down here. I think, wait, it's crooked. Oh Lord, here we go. I forgot to fold this down. Here we go, so that way I have a gauge. Just like that. Okay. And we don't need pieces here, even though I thought we did. Alright, so we've got the little lip that's going to go right here. I'm going to fold it first, like I mentioned before. I think I mentioned that, just to make sure that that's okay. This paper, because I didn't, the score line's not too deep because I layered 2 pieces of paper at once. So I'm gonna have to be really careful there. Because I'm kind of gauging it. There we go. So that's why it's, you know, another reason why it's important to fold your papers first. Alright, there's that. I'm going to use score tape here. Now, all adhesive is temperature sensitive, guys, just to, you know, point that out to you. So it's always a good idea to double it up if you can when you're making a 3D item, because it's going to get handled and you don't want it to fall apart on you. Okay, so what I'll do is that I'll add my liquid adhesive right on top. Yes, and you're absolutely right. Live. Live from New York, only this is not a comedy show. This is, you know, me trying to make sense of paper. Alright. So, I'd like to, how do you say that? Make sure that I line up that little tip up here as well as the bottom. As long as those 2 pieces there are lined up perfectly, then I go ahead and just apply my pressure there, okay, because there is a curve there. So now I'll flip it over, and if you see there, it looks pretty good. Now, say you applied this and it went horribly wrong, you can get out your little spatula, warm up your paper, and just use a little spatula and just run it right down, and you can take it apart, okay? Without ripping everything, you know, and making a mess. So now I want to make sure that I have my little fold here, okay? You don't want to lose that. The same thing here. So let's fold this first, as I had mentioned before. Just very gentle. I do have my hand underneath that piece of paper. Get my little curvature there. And the reason I'm being so fiddly is precisely because of the shape of this bag. Okay? Alright, so I'm just pinching that little part right there, so it'll match the other one. Now I can fold all of these up. You don't need 2 pieces with this little lip, so what I'll do is that I'm just going to cut off this second one here. Just right close to that edge. Okay. This die cutting thing is not being my friend right now. There we go. Moving that aside. I'm not going to fight with that machine anymore. False promise number 1. Won't fight with my machines ever again. Alright, I'm going to apply my adhesive here again. Okay. There's that. And I'm going to remove that and apply my liquid adhesive. This just happens to be the Barely Art glue, but if you have, you know, any good adhesive will work. In this case, I'm going to bring this over and be very gentle here to line up the top, just as I did before. The bottom. Okay, hopefully I'm in frame there, so I want to make sure I get that bottom first and the top, okay, and then you can start making sure you line up the rest of it just like that. I like to put my hand inside of that. There we go. So I would say patience is key with this sort of thing. Okay, we already tried our folds, so now this is why I folded everything ahead of time, because now this is going to make life a whole lot easier, you know. I'm going to fold this back just a little bit there. You can apply your adhesive ahead of time if you want to, but I'm just going to overlap these two smaller ones first. And everybody knows how to make a box pretty much by this point, but just in case. Just in case. There's that. And the this one actually isn't even, I don't know. I suppose it's not necessary at all, because this is going to close in this way. So I guess I could have cut it even closer. So let's go ahead and cut that off. Right there, following the line. And there we are. Now, ideally, you want this then to be the back of the box, and this is the front because of this, the way that this closed. And that's just kind of like a rule of thumb, if you will, you know? But yeah, I do think it's an elegant box. You're absolutely right. In this case, it's just going to be playful because of the image that I colored, but you can make a little hole here if you want to add the tag. You can add that little phrase that says yum. You can use these little, you know, frustrating pieces of paper that I flung across the room and make a little flag. And just add a little flower here. Now here's one that I had colored. I was going to show this in this video, but we went with in a different direction. So that's another one that I colored with Copics as well. I think it would be cute if I just put that there, don't you think? Instead of the tag. I don't know. You guys let me know. And then here's our little girl, of course. Alright, so Eve says yes to put the rose. And then here she is with her little kitty cat. And I'm having OCD, so I do have to fix this. I didn't finish fussy cutting the image. So it was taking 3 hours to do this, and I apologize, guys. It's just the way it goes. I don't know a fast way of fussy cutting. I'm not at that level yet. But here's the little girl. And she's gonna go on the box. And of course this would make an adorable cover for a mini album or anything like that. But she does look cute there, I think. With the little rose up there. Isn't that sweet? Oh, thank you. So what I'll do is then, is that I'm gonna place her here. But you guys know that I'm tempted to add lace to this, right? I'm looking to see really quickly what I have that might bring in some blue. And I might have to do it later. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it later. For the sake of this video, because I've kept you guys here so long, I'm just gonna add a little bit of dimension to her, and then I'll take pictures and show you guys how I finish this off. But I'm just gonna use some dimensional adhesive, which my husband says we crafters are obsessed with this stuff. And I say, yep, we are. Just going to strategically place it here so that I give myself room to add a little bit more lace later and all that. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that, not too much. But this was fun to color with you guys. I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial. Please, if you did enjoy the tutorial, give me a thumbs up if you don't mind. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that and click the notification bell so you don't miss future tutorials. But I'm just gonna keep this super, super simple because I know that I have kept you guys here a really long time. I'm gonna add my little banners. Just like so. One little banner there, the other one here. I wish I could flip it over, but because it's double-sided, I can't. Just like that. You can definitely cut those and make them shorter, guys. And then I'm gonna add my little rose up there, just like that. Actually, with a foam tape thingy. I'm gonna put the foam there and then add my rose. Oh no! Yes, absolutely, Carolyn. I'm so sorry to hear that. But yeah, if you want to email me and let me know if you need a particular color, okay, honey? But yeah, absolutely. And there it is. There's our little girl. I will bling her out. I will add the little gems that I add to absolutely everything. These little guys here, because you know I like my shine. And what I'll do is on those little dots there, that's exactly where I'll place the little gems. I'll add a little bit of lace, whatever, you know, and then you guys will get to see the pictures when I'm done. Well, I appreciate it, guys. White cardstock, okay. Thank you. I so appreciate you guys having been here with me today. This was loads of fun, mistakes and all. But I hope that you at least got to see a little bit of, you know, technique and that sort of thing. Now, if you wanted to grunge this up even further, you can take a, I meant to mention that, one of the pencils and then give this like the cross, what do you call that? Cross hatches? Yes, I think that's how you call it. You know, do your little doodling on there. I've done this before where I hand wrote a Bible verse on the heart, and I really loved how that came out because this could be your sentiment to your recipient. You know, you don't need to add any more to it. So whatever you want to write, it could be happy birthday, I love you, or a Bible verse. John 3:16 is what I had added to mine, and it was a little notebook that I sent away. So but yeah, very versatile, lots of fun. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. As I always say, I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. And I thank you so much for watching. And if you have any concerns or questions, you can always reach me at paintsandglitter@gmail.com. All right. God bless. Yes, thank you.